In this video, we are going to solve few example problems, okay, on how do we use these properties. Remember, these are just examples, okay? After that, we are going to solve the actual number of problems. Look at these problems. Look at the first one. So here, 0 to pi by 2 sin x by sin x plus cos x. Now, see, most of the times, the questions what we get is, how do I know which method to choose? Like, like students will keep on asking questions to teachers. How do we know which method to choose or which property to choose? Because there are 8 properties. So how do I know which property actually works, which property does not work? Correct? So this is like one of the most common questions what we hear. See, the first 2 properties, it's not really that helpful. So from third to eighth is where you need to understand, correct? And that too, especially the third property and the fourth property, that f of 0 to a, f of x is f of a minus x, that is a very, very important property. So third property is very important, okay, and then the fifth property is important, and the eighth property is important. So these 3 properties, if you know very well, I would say around 98 to 99% of the problems will come from only these 3 properties. Okay, the rest of the properties, if you know, that's good, but then it's not really used in any of the problems. Fine. So just property 3, then property 5, and property 8. These 3 are very, very important. Clear? Now, in this particular problem, you have 0 to pi by 2. So which one do we use? Because the fifth property as well as the third property, we have 0 to a and 0 to 2a, correct? So which one do I use? Now comes the question of practice, because the more you practice, the better you will have the judgmental skill saying that, oh, we have to use this property, right? Now, what we are going to do here is we are going to use the third property. We have I is equal to 0 to pi by 2 sin x divided by sin x plus cos x, right? Now apply the function 0, that is pi by 2 minus x, or in this case pi by 2 minus x, right? That's a minus x. So I is equal to 0 to pi by 2 sin of pi by 2 minus x by sin of pi by 2 minus x plus cos of pi by 2 minus x, right? This is what? Integral 0 to pi by 2 cos x by cos x plus sin x, right? Now guys, add both the values. That means you're going to add this value integral, this value of integral. Now, since both of them are I itself, so LHS is going to become 2I is 0 to pi by 2. When you add, denominator is the same. That is sin x plus cos x. Numerator also becomes sin x plus cos x dx, right? Cancels off, that's 1. So what do you have? Integral just dx 0 to pi by 2. So isn't it the same as saying pi by 2 itself? Because what is integration of dx? X. You apply the limit, pi by 2 minus 0 is pi by 2. So 2I is equal to pi by 2. So I is equal to pi by 4. So answer for the given question is pi by 4. Understood how to apply the properties and how to solve it. It makes your life a lot more easier compared to what you used to do for indefinite, isn't it? Now let's do the second question now. Second example, all right? See, for the second one, what you have is mod of x from -1 to 3. Remember I gave you the example of this one. There was one property where you need to split. That's a to c and c to b, like that. We are going to use that particular property here. Okay. So what we'll do is I is equal to integral minus x from -1 to 0, correct? Dx plus x dx from 0 to 3. Fair enough? Integrate minus x square by 2 from -1 to 0 plus x square by 2 from 0 to 3. Then you have minus half into 0 square minus of -1 square, correct? Plus half into 3 square minus 0 square. So what do you get now? Minus half into 0 minus 1 plus half into 9, right? So you end up with the writing 1 by 2 plus 9 by 2, which is 10 by 2. So the final answer is going to be 5. 5 is the final answer for the second one. Okay. Now, why, even though we are taking negative value, we are getting a positive answer, right? Now, the reason behind this, you are going to understand this in the next chapter, that is area or application of integral. That's area under the curve. Area cannot be negative. That's why we are getting a positive answer. Clear? Now, let's do the third question, right? See the third one. -1 to 1. I think this very easy, you can identify which property to use, isn't it? Because there is only one property which has minus a to a, isn't it? So if you use that, easily you will get the answer. But before that, you need to see, is the function odd or even? Because if it's even, only then we need to do the integration, isn't it? Otherwise, if it's an odd function, what is the answer? 0. So one line you will get the answer, correct? So always try to check whether the function is even or odd. You might not know just by looking at it. That's why what we do, you substitute the values and check so that it's confirmed it's an even or an odd function. Fair enough? So here what we are doing, we are going to substitute. What is the condition for function to be an odd function? Because odd function is always easier to calculate than even function. Okay. So if you take f of minus x, suppose if it gives you minus f of x, then it's an odd function, right? So let's put it sine power 7 of minus x cos power 4 of minus x. So this is going to give you minus sine power 7x into cos to the power of 4x, right? Isn't it the same as saying minus f of x? So our function f of x is an odd function. Since it's an odd function, what will be the integral? 0. So we can directly say I value is equal to 0 since f of x is odd. It's an odd function. So integral value is 0. Fair enough? See, the problems, whatever we have discussed now, these are just example problems. Now, in the next video, we are going to solve proper problems based on whatever the properties you have learnt. Now, these three problems I showed so that you understand how do we apply the property. Okay. So, the next set of problems, whatever you're going to do, those are problems, that is exercise ones, which you're going to see it in the next video.